Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a video about my honest owner review of the Husqvarna 701. I hope you guys enjoy the video. So I'm doing this video because I have had some people ask about doing the same thing I did with the 750 GS, which is basically a pros and cons of owning this bike, what I like, I don't like, and I figured, yeah, sure, why not? I've actually had this bike long before I had the 750 GS. This is, I will classify this as one of my beginner bike. This is my second bike. Literally, when I just was riding I started riding in 2016, more like end of 2016, and then I got this bike on 2017. So this is my second bike, and at that time I was still not very experienced in riding. So this bike has been through a lot of, ups and downs. It's been through tons of commuting miles, travel, camping, track, off-road, and it's still running. I would like to start by repairs and maintenance of this bike. What I like about it is because even though this is like a dirt bike setup, the maintenance interval is just like a regular motorcycle. So you don't, if you are you're a busy person and you commute a lot and stuff like that, or travel even, the last thing you want is to have service intervals that are always so frequent, because it takes up time and money. So with that said, I'm very satisfied with that condition. The cons behind that, which honestly does not even really directly translate, is the fact that I like how this is like a dirt bike, but off-road, now we're jumping into off-road a little bit. We're gonna kind of go back and forth, sort of. Off-road, this is heavier than the FE350, and however, the FE350 requires super frequent intervals. But when I am off-road, I'd rather use that bike. So there's the give and take there. And honestly, if it's mild off-road, this thing is no problem at all. And with that said, moving on into commuting, the primary reason I got this bike was because I started riding because I wanted to commute with a motorcycle. It is cheaper, it's faster, it's easier. So I think for commuting, even how do you say it? If your goal is to commute into a city like San Francisco and commuting during rush hour, it's really just easier to use this bike than use the GS. Also, it's so durable. It's been dropped so many times because I learned on this bike as well. And even though I have lowered this bike 2 inches, I'll show you right now. That I am still dabbing. I can't really put 2 foot down, but I can tiptoe, and that's comfortable enough, and this bike is really lightweight anyway. Another thing is parts are cheaper than the GS, so it's easy to work on, as maybe some of you have already seen in my channel. I have so many DIYs on this bike. Of course, parts would be cheaper for bikes like Honda and stuff like that, but compared to the BMW, parts for this bike is cheaper. Also, they use interchangeable parts with KTM, and since KTM is more popular, even here in the US, you can get cheaper parts for KTM to fit this bike. So in terms of travel, I like that this bike is very, how do you say it? I think overall a very solid bike. It's not great on the freeway. There's one of the cons, is because even though I installed this windshield, it doesn't do anything really, and you still get thrown around in the when it's really windy. You still get thrown around on the freeway, and you can't really go any faster comfortably than 75 miles an hour, and even that when it's windy is not comfortable. So I'd say like 70 is a sweet spot. When it's not windy you can go faster, but where I live it's always windy. Even if I go through the valleys, even if I leave the coast and go through the valleys to get to a campsite, that the road, the mountain pass through the valleys are super windy, and it's just more comfortable when I have the GS. But in the end, when I end up in the camping area off-road, then I am thankful that I have this bike and not the GS. So there you go, pros and cons again. Another thing that I wanted to mention in terms of travel is that it is not that comfortable in long haul trucking type of traveling. So when you do a lot of freeways and you go on I-5 for example, or something like that, change of temperature and things like that, it's really just you, your gear, not so much the bike, because this bike is like very bare minimum. No heated grips like the GS, no cruise control. I have what is called the cramp busters right here, which is basically like this little lever thing that I can rest my palm on, you know, so it's not getting too much strain from throttling. I do have tendonitis, and this bike is not friendly to that kind of injury. With that said, being a thumper in general causes more vibration than a bike that has more cylinders than one, and the vibration and even off-road aggravates my tendonitis. So there you go. And because I've had this bike for a while, I don't tend to switch bikes that often. As you can see, I've only had two for a while now, and I've just tailored this bike to how I use it. And I commute a lot at night, which is not the safest thing, but this is my only form of transportation. I mean, obviously also the other bikes, but I mean, I don't have a car, and I don't really like using Uber or Lyft, anything like that. So, and I ride in that's why I ride in all weather if I can. I installed these LED lights. They are very cheap. They are not any particular brand. They're basically no-name brand. They've been helping me out very well driving at night. I also changed the LED bulb on the headlamp, which helps a lot. And I use my phone to navigate. I have the quad lock wireless charger under it, and I can choose. There's a button for me to choose to turn it on and charge it all the time or not. Don't mind the grease. I use lotion, and I have all these charging ports here for my GoPros and whatnot if I want to charge them while riding. I also have installed this thing here, which if I need to charge, plug my bike, this is connected to the battery. I use a battery tender if I don't ride for a while, because for example right now, due to surgery recovery, then I plug it in, and I have this power supply here that I can turn on if I want to use power to go to here. If not, I turn it off so I don't kill my battery. Like I said, I got this for a lot of freeway travel, but I'm not quite sure if it actually works. I really like these double take mirrors with the ram mount setup here, because I can use it like this, or I can push it down when I'm off-roading. Another thing that kind of saves me from protection from wind is this storm guard by Barkbusters, because you can use other hand guards, but when you have the storm guard, it has more coverage. So when it's raining and cold, at least you have more shield. One thing that is not good for traveling is that the fact that this gas tank is small. I think it's only like 2.9, less than 3 gallons. I might be wrong. I don't know the exact number, but it's a small gas tank, which sometimes it bothers me, but honestly, I should be thankful that it has a small gas tank because I do have a bad back. I had a back injury that's made me disabled for half a year, and it tends to come back when I travel on a motorcycle and I push myself to not stop when I should be stopping and taking a break and stretching. So having a smaller gas tank is actually beneficial to me, and I haven't yet encountered issue where I'm running out of gas because I have these MSR red fuel bottles, and if I'm off-roading and I think I'm going to run out of gas, I have them on the Moskomoto bags and not a problem at all. But honestly, not a big deal to most of the things that I do, which is commuting, which is I'm always in civilization, that kind of stuff, and I need to stop and take a break anyway. In terms of camping, this bike is really nice because camping also means off-road, and this is lighter than the 750 GS, although it is heavier than the 350. If I have to ride to the campsite and do a lot of off-roading that is harder terrain than just fire roads, I would rather have this than the 750 GS, and I would rather have this than the 350S, because okay, when I'm on the freeway, yes, it would be great to have the GS, all of the luxury, heated grips, cruise control, more comfortable seats, windshield works great, just everything fantastic. But then you end up in camp. Oh, there you go. Then you can also pack more stuff because it's a bike made for touring. And then you get to camp, and now with this bike you can't pack as much as the GS because the load allowed for this bike is less than what you can load the GS. Also, the suspension is different. This is a 701 Enduro, which has softer suspension, and I did end up loading this before, and maybe you guys seen a few videos of the camping trips where I overloaded this bike and it just handled so poorly, and I couldn't enjoy off-roading anyway because it's hard to control the bike. Using this bike, it would be a con because, you know, I would have to pack even less, and you know me, I already pack super light. And the reason why it's a con is because when camping, I can't pack minimally. I can't sleep on the ground. I need, because of my back problems, I need the pad, I need, you know, the thermarest pillow, which they take up space. And I always bring a lot of water, and water weighs a lot and takes up space. And because I have a back problem, I do not want to carry camelback on my back at all. I don't want anything on my back. I don't wear a backpack when I travel on the bike because I've tried it before and it aggravates my back. It makes the trip worse. I have to stop more often, or I just can't go further. But when you get to the campsite and it's time to ride more off-road for fun, then I'm happy I have this bike. Although this bike has some shortcomings, overall this bike is awesome. I've done all of these changes to the bike so that it is super tailored to me, which I don't want to be sidetracked, so I will do that modifications video some other time. But as an owner for 18, 19, 22, 4 years now, I guess, at least 4 years, owning this bike for 4 years, I have no complaints, zero complaints. I mean, you buy this bike, you know you're not gonna be comfortable because it's like a dirt bike, but I commute a lot on this bike, and during rush hour on steep hills of San Francisco, if I had to stop and go and maneuver through traffic like crazy, this is so much easier than with the GS. It really depends what you're using the bike for, and you know, the opportunity for off-road is also nice because my skill level, I have more confidence off-roading with this bike than with the GS. And I've taken this bike on the track a few times and it performs really well. I'm not gonna say that I'm fast, especially because everybody there has sports bike, and I have not tried the flat track. Before you guys make any comments, I just want to put it out there. No more track days for me because it's expensive. I can't afford it. That's the reason why I just said, that's it, no more. Just tried it a few times and I'm like, I can't afford this hobby. That's pretty much it. I mean, I bought this bike mainly to commute. I ended up traveling with it. I ended up going to the track. I ended up off-roading with it, trying out moto camping with it. And there's just so much opportunities. And I am happy that I have the 701 and I'm not like, oh, I wish I have the KTM 690 or I wish I have this other bike. So yeah, I'm very satisfied. If you have any questions, don't forget to write them in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, ride safe everybody. Bye.